Welcome, everybody, to the Contextual Christian Church Bible Study, where today we will be getting into First Chronicles chapter 2 and verse 18 through 30. Again, that's First Chronicles chapter 2 and verse 18 through 30. And then go ahead and bow your heads as I pray us in. Father, thank you for this time of studying and understanding that we have together. We want to give thanks for every second that's not promised. And I'm grateful that we're able to have Reggie on and Thomas on and everybody on that's on right now. I just pray that we're able to learn and we're able to understand simply as we go forth, knowing that every part of your word is good for our understanding, even if it's not directly about us. So we pray we're able to do that, and pray we're able to move forward and get to a better level in your son's holy and precious name, Jesus Christ Yeshua. Amen. All right. So last time, what we had gone through is we were dealing, first off, we started in verse 5 with the sons of Pharez or Pharez. Then we got into a car. Now, a car, it seemed as we've seen these people that are being pointed out for the sins, that they're pointed out for one or two things that hopefully we'll get more understanding on why as we read along today. But when he had done this, what he had, as he was called the troubler of Israel, who transgressed in the accursed thing. And what that was that they were taking over the area of Jericho, but they were not allowed at this particular time to take the spoils of war or the rewards, their clothing, their gold, the jewelry. They weren't allowed to touch that stuff. But Akar, as his name translated back then was a Khan, same person, he was actually took some of the stuff, the clothes and stuff, because he saw it look good, even the Babylonianish garments. And so, or what's the clothes? And so he took that. So we came into that understanding and we continued on this genealogy as we've been going down from Adam down to David and now to the children's of as we got into last time of Jesse, which got into the children of David, Jesse being David's dad, where we found out that David was the seventh son, bringing out and showing out the point again, as we've seen many times before. Seven is used in the Bible a lot of times to represent either something happening perfectly or God intervening in something. And David was the chosen first king that would be godly over the kingdom of Israel. And so it's interesting that he was the seventh son, again, bringing out that number seven. And we ended with talking about David's sisters, who were Zeruiah and Abigail, and how we had Yether, who was an Ishmaelite, was married to Abigail, who gave birth to Amasa, bringing back around Abraham's other lineage, Ishmael, who was his actual firstborn, but was not the lineage that God had blessed to be the one to carry the genealogy to Christ. But they still got connected in that fact. And that's where we ended with yesterday was that. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to the first section. And go ahead, Thomas, when you're ready.
I'll be reading on the First Chronicles chapter 2, 18 through 22. Give me a few seconds. I'm going to grab some water.
Not a problem.
And Caleb the son of Hezron begot children of Azubah his wife, and of Jerioth. Her sons are these, Jeshur, and Shubab, and Arden. And when Azubah was dead, Caleb took unto him Ephrath, which bare him Hur, and Hur begot Uri, and Uri begot Bezalel. How do you pronounce it? Bezalel.
The first thing for the pronunciation, remember, the U is always the oo sound 9 times out of 10, not the So that would be Hur.
Oh, Hur. Okay,
And then Hur, which let me look in the phonetic real quick to be sure. But normally,
Hur.
when the H is by itself, what noise does it normally make?
Haha.
Yeah, like you're trying to clear your throat of some phlegm.
Hur.
So I want to be 100% sure. So give me a second. I'm going to it now. Yeah, it's with the phlegm clearance. So it's Hur.
Hur.
And then the next one's
Exactly.
name is Uri.
Uri. Okay. See,
Yeah.
Hur and Uri. And Hur and Uri begot. And Hur begot Uri. And Uri begot Bezalel. Bezalel. And
Now
afterwards,
remember, whenever you have those two letters together, an easy way to be able to pronunciate it is to give like a little pause point in between.
yeah, let me pull up
So
my forge real quick.
yeah.
I'm terrible with names, guys. You got to bear with me.
No, that's fine. That's part of why we're here is to make sure we're
Yeah.
learning how to read it. The first thing we have to
20.
learn is how to read it from the Hebrew to English. Then we can get to the next portion.
That's L. Bezalel. So I'm still butchering that.
No, you're good. You're good.
Bezalel. All right, cool.
Betzalel. Betzalel.
Bezalel.
So a
Bezalel.
when seeing it with the English like that, a good way to do it is have like a little pause of air. So Betzalel.
Bezalel.
Betzalel.
Bezalel. Okay.
See how I have the pause from the from the L.
Yeah,
Betzalel.
Bezalel. Okay.
Think like a roller coaster going up.
Bezalel.
Betzalel.
Bezalel.
There you go.
And
Anytime you
afterwards,
see
Hezron.
that double letter, that's a good way, a good tool to use is like a little pause in between. Betzalel.
Okay. And afterwards, Hezron went into the daughter of Makir, the father of Gilead, whom he married when he was 70 years old, and she bare him Segub,
Good.
and Segub begot Jair, who had three and
Not
twenty
Jer.
year. Hold on,
Yair.
Jair.
Yeah. A little thing when you see the I. Now you could pronounce it Jer or Yair, if we're talking about just from like an English standpoint. But if we're talking about trying to understand how to read it correctly, remember, whenever if we're talking Greek, it's different. But in
Okay,
Hebrew, you want to enunciate every letter 9 times out of 10. There are
so we're
rare
not
occasions where you don't, but usually it would be Yair, like
Hebrew.
that.
We're not. Okay, gotcha. And Segub begot here, who had 3 and 20 cities in the land of Gilead. And let me dial it back to 18. Give me a second to reread it.
Not a problem.
So it looks like here the Caleb, the son of Hezron, ends up having children with Azubah, his wife, and of Jerioth. And they end up having 3 sons. And then in 19, read it real quick.
Mm-hmm. Now, same thing with that name, to keep that in mind for habit's sake, Yeriot.
Which one?
Yeriot. The
Oh,
J's in
Yerio.
the original are a Y sound. Like Jerusalem would be Jerusalem. Joshua would be Yeshua.
Okay. And then in 19, um, Caleb's wife Azubah ends up dying. So Cable took him to Ithrath, which bare him her. So Caleb ends up having an intercourse with another woman and end up having here.
Well, I wouldn't
And
say intercourse because Remember, we're talking about this generation. We don't know if it's just getting laid or if they're married, right? But
Okay.
it said he took unto him Ephrath. So we do actually have the answer. If you ever see like took unto him, that means claimed as his own. Well, how do you claim someone as your own in Bible times?
You have them, right? Like, what do you mean?
You marry them.
Marry them, okay?
So Caleb took a new wife
Okay.
after his first wife died.
So he took a new wife, which bear him her here. And then in pure. Then in 20, pure, I'm reading real quick. God.
Yeah.
And then in 20, pure begot Uri, and Uri begot Bezalel. These names are crazy. All right, then 21, read it. And afterwards, Hezron went into the daughter. It's a lot of baby making happening. And then in
Yeah. Yeah.
21, Hezron went into the daughter of Machir, the father of Gilead, and they ended up getting married when he was 60 years old, which is three scores.
Yep.
And she ended up burying him a child named Segub. And in 22, Segub year, hold on, Segub year. We had 3 years. And Segub ends up having year who had 23, correct? Cities in the land of Gilead.
Yep.
All right. That's my summary.
All right, good. Now,
What
question
is
for you first, Thomas.
yeah.
So we've heard of Caleb before. Where did we hear of Caleb before?
Oh boy.
You said what?
I said, oh boy. Hey man, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm terrible with names and remembering where they came from. If they ain't like
No,
main
you're
characters.
fine. You're fine. I'm horrible with names too. I've just studied it so much and it was important in arguments and debates. So it sticks with me from that.
I ain't got the answer,
Um,
Kanye.
oh my goodness. Houseway. All right. Charles, give you the chance.
You want to give Chris a shot? Because I might have, there's a 99% chance I'm going to answer it right. You want to give Chris a shot?
All right, then let me give Chris a chance.
I ain't got the answer.
All right, go ahead, Charles.
I hate saying it. I don't want to say this wrong. He was the one when the children of Israel left Egypt, or they were saved by God, and they were going through the wilderness. And when they were spying out another land, he was the only one faithful enough to believe that they were able to win against or beat all the odds. And everybody was freaking out. They didn't think they were going to win. He was the only faithful one. But he wasn't even part of the children of Israel, if I'm saying that right. Like he was faithful to a T, but wasn't part of the children of Israel, like lineage wise.
You are correct. The Caleb that we're talking about was Caleb who was actually came over from Egypt with them. But after seeing everything that God had done, he actually had more faith in God than the children of Israel. It's kind of funny how people could see the miracles and abilities you do, see, like even with us today, see what we're capable of, yet still doubt us on something that should be provable capable. That's how they behave. The country area that they were going to be taking over was called Ai or Ai. And Ai had some big people. So the children of Israel started freaking out, which is crazy considering the fact that when they were in Egypt, they saw all the different plagues that God brought, even killing the firstborn and having the cloud come over. And the only ones that were spared were the ones that had the lamb blood on the side walls of their doorway. But Caleb, because of seeing everything he saw, he actually believed. He was like, why are y'all tripping? Like, obviously, we're going to be fine. And because he had that much faith in God, God actually grafted him in to that. So he became part of the tribe of Judah. Now, here goes the secondary question. This will go first to Chris. Are we talking about the same person here?
I would have to go through and look through it to see, go through the Strongs and whatnot.
No. You should be able to answer this from the context we've read in the last 3 days.
You said if it is the same person,
I'm asking you if it's the same person.
I would immediately guess yes.
All right, Thomas?
Once again, me and names, bro. I don't know.
It's all good. Charles?
No.
All right. Now, Chris first, why do you think yes? And then Charles second, why do you think no?
Only specifically because I think it's what me and you went through yesterday. With the whole, what was it, the Akar and Akan thing. Even though it's spelled different, it still could be the same person. In instances, since right now we're just going through the lineage and all that. And since we're on the children of Judah, right? We're
You
the
said
lineage.
what?
We're still in the lineage of Judah. Jeez, why can't I talk?
No, not at this point. Remember last time what we read. Last time we got into talking about David was the last thing we read. We're not just in the tribe of Judah. We're way, way down there. All right, go ahead, Charles. Why do you say no?
Oh, because the Caleb situation, that was before David was even born, way before David. I think Caleb, what he did and what he showed, I think that was before they even had set up to separate the tribes and everything, before they had named Levites and all of this, that, and the third.
Exactly. You're exactly right. So the Caleb of that time that we're reading now is after David is already born. But the Caleb at the time of taking over the land of Israel, that was before David was born. And this is why, Chris, if you had been there for that, we would have known, because and I would say the last 3 chapters you would be able to know. If you knew the story of David in the time frame and the story of Caleb in the time frame, that would let you know that it happened way before David. So this is just a lack of time spent reading is all. You weren't here for that topic.
I got you.
So, but your subject and why you think it might have been, that is a good reason to think of why. We're going down the genealogy of Judah, and we're going down to that, and then Caleb comes up. And when we brought up the scenario that Caleb was grafted into the tribe of Judah. Charles brought that up. So putting that 2 and 2 together is a good idea. Just it's because the time frame is off. We know it's a different Caleb. Now then, I'll go ahead and switch it over to the second section where Chris can get started reading.
All right, continuing in First Chronicles, chapter 2, verses 23 to 27. Let me switch to KJV lights. All right. And he took Geshur and Aram with the towns of Yair from them, with Kenath and the towns thereof, even 60 cities. All these belong to the sons of Machir, the father of Gilead. And after Hezron was dead in Calab, my goodness, hold up.
Think the F sound for the PH.
Calabaphatha. Calabaphatha.
Ephrata.
Calabaphatha. There we go.
Not
And
collab, Caleb.
no, I said Caleb the last time. The first 3 times it was Calab, but
Oh, okay.
Calabaphatha. Then Abiah, Hezron's wife, bare him Ashur, the father of Tekoa. And the sons of Jeremiah, the firstborn of Hezron, were Ram, the firstborn, and Bunah, and Oren, and Ozem, and Ahiah. Jeremiah had also another wife, whose name was Atara. She was the mother of Onam. And the sons of Ram, the firstborn of Jeremiah, were Maaz, and Yamin, and Aker.
You know what I mean?
Yamin. All right. So first off, we're going with I want to say we're still talking about Segub in 23, how he took Yeshur and Aram with the towns of Yair. And let me make sure I got this right. And which form of took. Pull up the KJV. So yeah, take hold of, seize, or acquire.
Oh, I thought you
So
said tick. I was going to ask, what are you talking about? You said take.
took, yeah, and he took. I'm trying to see which form of took they're referring to here, because you can take someone like, and he took his wife, or he took his land, or we're trying to see what in the context which one it is. So
Well, what does it sound like? Gesher is not a person.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. He took these places, he took them over,
There you go. Yep.
and let's see. So Yeshur, Aram, towns of Yair, Kanath, all these towns, 60 cities. He took all these 60 cities, and these belong to the sons of Makir, who is the father of Gilead. And when I look at the father, it's like the founder of or the ruler of Gilead. And then in 24, we
Not
get
founder
into
or ruler.
what do you mean?
Father's not used like that in the Bible. It's a New Age thing.
Oh, so should I have not gone over the? Because I went through
You
the
said
BDBs.
founder or ruler of Gilead.
Yeah, because when I went through the BDBs, first one says father of an individual.
But I
Two
told
says
you already, BDB is not the first one you go to, right? What's the first one you go to?
Strong's. Do we go Strong first?
Yeah. Remember, I said that from the beginning. You don't go to
Right.
BDB first. BDB is a renewed thing. Remember last time it didn't even have translation at all? It just had a claim.
Yeah, I get you. I remember that.
First thing you always do is go to, this is the order when you're doing your research every time. This is the order. First thing you do is you go and see if you can figure it out from the context it's read. Second thing you do is you go to the Strong's definition. The Strong's is the original dictionary of the Bible. That's the original.
Okay.
Then from the Strong's, then you go to the BDB and try to match it and see if it makes sense. And if there's anything you need to research afterwards, then you look it up through the internet after. But the internet is the last resort because it's the most new age thing possible. BDB is second. Strong's Concordance
Okay.
is the original dictionary.
I got you. Even when I look at the Strong's definition, it says if not the father in the literal and immediate thing, it says, or it literally says a father, primitive word, father in a literal and immediate or figurative and remote application, chief, forefather, uh, patrimony, principle.
Exactly. Nowhere in
So
there did
yeah,
that say
chief,
ruler. It said like chief, or as in like, oh, but what is the chief? Chief is
like
not ruler as we think of it
departments.
today. Chief is the most important.
Yeah,
Like chief is the best, is one way
okay.
of thinking at it. So when
Because
we're
I
looking
wrote
at as
all
the
three.
father of Gilead, that's letting you know that that father, that Makir and Gilead are both brothers. Now, you should have been able to get that from the context.
Well, I mean, it's different when you get it versus how you explain it the right way. Because in my head, I know of his position and importance,
But
but
you're
you know, it's
thinking
like
about it from a position standpoint. This is where I said from the context, you should have been able to get it. Where in here have we talked about the position of authority?
belonged.
You said the what?
Oh, never mind. I was thinking possessive, not possession.
Yeah, have we talked about position of authority and taking over in this section today or yesterday?
Well, it says he took Yeshua and Aram, so he's taking over these cities.
Yeah, he took those cities, but is that a position statement? Is that saying he transferred being king to somebody else, reigned in his stead and all that?
No,
And who is the he that we're reading about in 23?
that was Segub.
Exactly. So Segub took Gesher and Aram with the towns of Yair. So we see where he's taking over these places from them with Kenat, the towns thereof, even 60 cities, so 60 cities. All these belong to the sons of Machir, the father of Gilead. The first thing that's connected in that sentence, they all belong to the sons of Machir. Is there any separation of the father of Gilead from the sons of Machir?
No,
So why would you think so? You should not have gone to a thought of position of authority. You should have understood it talking about genealogy, because that's
I
literally
thought
the
that.
same sentence. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess it's because the whole took over thing. I admittedly went to that.
Yeah. So don't
Sorry.
forget, this is something to keep in mind as you go to read. Yes, you want to keep the parts that are connected. But remember the 5 W's every time: who, what, when, where, why, and how. If any of that looks like it changes, we have to keep that change in mind. When we go from the first sentence in there about them taking over, we're talking about land. But then when we go to the next sentence, we're talking about genealogy.
I
So
get
since
you.
that, you see what I'm saying? So keep that
Yeah,
in mind as you go to read forward. Machir, so it belonged to the sons of Machir, the father of Gilead. So what that's actually doing is it's pointing out Gilead as an important name to remember.
okay.
And that Machir is his father. Because it went and it was talking about these belong to the other sons, but then it goes out of its way to point out that Gilead. Now, as much as we've read a few times about Gilead, the city now, right?
Yeah,
So it makes sense why he would point out Gilead and not the other sons, right?
Right.
So keep that in mind as we go forward. When you see the father of, look at what's surrounding it. Is it a genealogy? Is it a position of authority? What is it talking about? That'll help you with that understanding as you move forward.
Gotcha.
All right, continue with your explanation.
Gotcha. Sorry. So then we got Hezron dying, and I gotta try this again.
Mm.
Caleb Caleb Yeah,
Ephrathah.
Caleb. We got Hezron dying in Caleb, and then his wife Abiah gave birth to Ashur, the father of Tekoa.
Now, what is this confirmation of in 24? What is 24 confirming? It's something we talked about today. Chris?
I'm thinking right now.
All right, let me give somebody else a
Go ahead.
chance. Thomas, what does 24 confirm?
The whole wife situation, correct?
No.
Hmm.
Charles?
What does 24 confirm?
Yep.
Sorry about silent. At the moment, I confirm from what?
I said, what does it
Oh wait, no,
confirm that we
you would be
talked
giving
about
me.
today? All right, Chris, one more chance.
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure of any confirmation
All
possibility.
right. This confirms the question I asked earlier about if it's the same Caleb.
Oh,
So,
Oh,
Chris, you'll get the first chance. I
Go
said
ahead,
it's something we spoke on today. Everybody on here, we've only spoken on a couple things. Chris, how does it confirm the Caleb is a different Caleb?
I still can't piece it out. I'm looking at my notes and I still can't piece it together.
All right, Thomas.
Regarding the Caleb, I'm trying to think back on what my verse said previously.
I'll put it back on the screen. Give everybody a 5-second chance. So you got to be quick or we're going to go on. Well, 10-second.
Didn't they just put the two together? That's to him. That's me. Yeah, I'm not sure.
All right, Charles.
I had answered it earlier, but with what 24 has, I don't know right now for 24.
All right. It's got a confirmation of it being different because now we have this city taking place. A city named after this Caleb right here in the same time frame, but the city did not exist prior. If it was Caleb, it wouldn't have had the Ephrathah, which is obviously named after Caleb's wife that he took. Then it went out of its way to specify in 19. So even if it had combined a different name, it could have been the same Caleb from that time. You see what I'm saying, Chris?
Yeah, so you're saying that wasn't the same city from The
So we have a
original
different
kid that we're
city
talking about.
from the original. Yep.
Okay.
But the Caleb and Ephrathah, that just happened right here in Chronicles at this day and age. So that's why it shows that being a different person, as far as we can understand from what we have right now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I would have gotten that anyway.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you guys would or not, but I did want to give you a chance. Charles, you understand how that has a little confirmation of it being different?
Yeah, it's a tiny detail that completely went over my head because I was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I read it, and I'm like, "Ah, it's right
Yeah,
there."
Caleb, Ephrathah. If it
Yeah, it's
was
right
the
in
other
that sentence.
Caleb, it would have had the other name.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, go ahead and continue with your explanation, Chris. And in the meanwhile, I'm gonna look something up real quick.
All right. And in 25, we get into the sons of Jeremiah, Hezron's firstborn. His sons are Ram, Bunah, Oren, Ozem, and Ahiah. And he had a second wife who was Atara, and she was the mother of Onam. And then the sons of Jeremiah's firstborn, which is Ram, were Maaz, Yamin, and Aker. That's pretty much it for my section.
Oh, I might have to correct myself on something.
It wasn't the same.
No. I was right. Okay. So Caleb in Judges chapter 1. Let me go ahead and get to this part. Let me just make sure on this, because I might have to correct that real quick. Numbers 13:6. You know what? I'm gonna have to relook through that. I might be wrong about saying that they're a separate person. Because it keeps on bringing who he gave his son's wife, but not his. Judges 1:12-15. All right, good job for your explanation. I'm gonna switch it to the final section so Charles can read. While I'm looking this up, I'll multitask.
All right.
Go ahead, Charles, when you're ready.
All right. I'll read First Chronicles chapter 2, verses 28 to 30. I'm gonna give it a couple seconds. verse 28. And there we go. And the sons of Anam were Shammai and Jada. And the sons of Shammai, Nadab and Abishur. And the name of the wife of Abishur was Abihel or Abihail. There we go. And she bare him Ahbah and Malid or Malid. There we go. And the sons of Nadab, Seled and Apayim. But Seled died without children. So in my section, we have Yeramel, the son through the other wife, through Atara, Onam's kids. So we're breaking down the Onam. And then after, break it down with Onam having Shammai and Jada, then Shammai, there we go, had Nadab and Abishur. And we got the wife's name of Abishur, Abihail or Abihail, and she had Achban and Malid. And then with Nadab had Seled and Apayim, and Seled, when he died, he didn't have any children. And that's the end of my section.
All right.
You still looking it up?
Yep, just wanted to double check it real quick.
Did you hear what I was saying with the explanation?
I did. You got everything good on that.
All right. You want me to pray it out?
No, hold on 1 second. I just want to double check that. The children of Judah came, the son of Kenazite. And Caleb, the son. The son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb. They gave Hebron in the time of Moses. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're talking about a different Caleb. Because when we're talking about the son of Caleb himself, he was at the time of Moses. How many years after Moses is David? Yeah, okay, I was right. Yeah, this is a different Caleb. David is roughly about 300 years after Moses. But the Caleb that was helped take over that land, he was actually at the time of Moses. This is why you have to be cautious. And I'm going to say this before we pray it out. The reason I had to take a second to look into it is because there were, when I would type in who Caleb's wives are, the first thing that pops up is the information of Caleb here that we read about. But as we go through, when I was looking into it, it doesn't show Caleb, the one from the time of Moses, having. It doesn't show his wife or anything of that. And so the way they put it together was that it's the same Caleb. But as we talked about, as we're reading at the time of David. So it's a whole different. So I had to take that extra step to look into it, because what they were putting together, it's actually not together. Yeah. So we're talking about two different Calebs. And the reason we're able to know that is because of the time difference between them. 300 years of the time of Moses to the time of David. And the original Caleb was at the time of Moses, went with them when they took over Israel. But the Caleb we're talking about here, we're already at the time of David. So we're talking about a different person. All right, now then, Charles, go ahead and pray us out. But before we do, does anybody have any comments or any questions before Charles prays us out? That'd be the time to raise your hand. All right, then go ahead, Charles, when you're ready.
Everybody, go ahead and bow your heads if you can. Father, thank you for having everybody a part of the study, practicing names. And thank you for giving us what we had here, the little things that we can practice on as far as getting the context and certain things going over our heads and certain things we can pay attention to going forward for the next Bible study. I pray that when we get into the next Bible study, that, as a matter of fact, in all our Bible studies, when we get into it, that we're able to get the context a little bit better. We're able to be spot on with the names, and we're able to remember some other details that may be important for it, or maybe some lessons that may be important for it. Separate from that, I pray everybody else after this Bible study either get some rest or get things done. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, and Charles, don't forget, tomorrow we do our run through.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful night.